I want to explain why I have three different price scenarios on my mind when it comes to Akash's native token called AKT, and this is just maybe even assuming, let's say there is a full-on type of altcoin season during this cycle. But even though nothing I say is financial advice, the first one I want to take a look at is maybe the idea of $18, which is around a 15.4x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around, or should I say nearly 4.5 billion. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, why do I have this on my mind when it comes to AKT? It's because I do like the fundamentals of Akash, and let me explain real quick what I think of the fundamentals. When it comes to Akash, it's allegedly the world's first decentralized super cloud. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, why does this even matter? It's because if we take a look at it, to kind of put this into simple terms, a cloud in this case is someone's computer, or should I say someone else's computer, sitting somewhere in a data center. Now, if we take a look at it, there are millions of data centers in the world, right? However, many of these data centers have a lot of unused capacity, so that's kind of, not really such an ideal situation. However, if we take a look at it, Akash kind of steps in, and it takes this available capacity and creates a super cloud, so to speak, right? That connects the private and public clouds in a decentralized manner. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, what is the benefit of something like that even, right? Now, for instance, it can, let's say, give better access to resources, like in cases where, for instance, getting GPUs. Now, GPU stands for graphic processing unit, but even besides that, again, like getting GPUs for AI. And I think this is pretty cool because if we take a look at the AI market, it is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030. So that's pretty massive, and that's according to Grandview Research. So I like the direction when it comes to Akash. However, it doesn't end there because it's even been noted that Akash claims to be the world's premier decentralized compute marketplace, and a compute marketplace is a platform where individuals can buy and sell computing power. So overall, I think Akash is a fundamentally amazing project in my perspective. I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to Akash, but I like its positioning. If we take a look at AKT, despite, not necessarily doing the best, right? The market cap is still pretty okay at around 290 million, so it still has a good following in my opinion. I like the exchange listings, I like the fundamentals, and if there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season, AKT at the price of $18 wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Now, the second one I want to explore, or should I say the second price scenario, is going to be, let's say, $19. Around a 16x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 4.7 billion. I don't find this as something too outlandish because even if we take a look at, let's say, something like Dogecoin, which reached over $80 billion in market cap back in 2021, this kind of seems peanuts compared to that. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to have more popularity, but it just doesn't seem like such an outlandish market cap to me. Now, the final price scenario I want to take a look at is $20, maybe, the idea of it. Around a 17x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be nearly 5 billion. And the way I take a look at this altcoin season, if we maybe ever even do see a fully fledged one during this cycle, it wouldn't surprise me if it looked better than back in 2021 just because of the amount of crypto owners. This is the way I take a look at it. I mean, supposedly right now, there's over 600 million. Back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, around 300 million. So it's just a very big difference right there. And also I take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF. So again, if we do ever see a fully fledged type of altcoin season, just with these factors right here, AKT at $20 wouldn't necessarily surprise me. However, I also want to discuss a little bit of a timeline that I have on my mind. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be true because I'm talking about, kind of learning a clue based off history. And what is that, right? I've seen how usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event. The last one happened in April of 2024, so a year and a half from then is October of 2025, so it's this year. Doesn't mean it's going to happen at that time, but it's just more so kind of something that I am thinking about. Sure, it could happen later. Whenever the case may be, I just want to be dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. That's it, because that's the only thing that's within my control. But I'm just preparing as opposed to finding the perfect moment. And again, I'm just holding, waiting, and staying patient. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.